Last winter, when the air turned silver with fog and the nights grew longer than they should, I was staying at my grandfather's house. It was usually just the 5 of us there, my grandparents, my 3 aunts, and me. My cousins visited sometimes, but most nights the house felt still and heavy with quiet. The society they lived in was lush and green, full of tall trees and thick patches of shrubs. It almost felt untouched. 10 minutes away, there was a park I loved, especially at night. The ecosystem was so alive that you could sometimes spot rare birds even after dark. Killdeers stepping lightly across the grass, the distant call of cuckoos echoing through the trees. That winter, I had gotten into the habit of walking there late at night. One particular night, around 1 a.m., a close friend, my neighbor, and I decided to explore the society. There was a thin layer of fog hanging in the air, the kind that makes streetlights glow softly and shadows stretch longer than they should. We chose to take the long route to the park. Truth be told, we wanted something strange to happen. We walked along the sidewalk beside the main road, our footsteps the only sound in the silence. My friend mentioned a meme he'd seen, something about not walking underneath trees at night. He said it half jokingly, half seriously. I laughed it off. It sounded like one of those warnings aunties give to keep kids from staying out too late. So I deliberately walked under every tree we passed. That same week, I had watched videos by the Merciful Servant about Jinn, the different types, their names, how they exist among us unseen. The ideas were still fresh in my mind. Eventually, we reached a part of the road that felt empty. No houses close by, no lights except one flickering street lamp. In the center stood an old tree, tall, dead, completely dry. Its branches clawed at the sky like skeletal fingers. I don't know what possessed me, but I joked. I named a specific Jinn and laughed, saying to my friend, "He probably lives here." Then, in a reckless burst of arrogance, I stepped forward and said out loud, "Blank, you live here, right? I want your place now." The words had barely left my mouth when it happened. From directly above us, from the tree, came a growl. Not a rustle, not wind, a growl. Deep, furious, animalistic, like an enraged grizzly bear, but louder than anything I'd ever heard. It vibrated through the air, through my skull. My ears rang instantly, as if the sound had physically struck me. We froze for a split second. Then we ran. We ran faster than I ever thought possible, breath tearing from our lungs as we began reciting Ayatul Kursi over and over. The fog blurred everything around us. It felt cinematic, unreal, like we had stepped into a horror film. We didn't stop until we reached his house, which was closer than my grandfather's. We slipped in through the back door because we had snuck out. We weren't allowed out that late. Only his mother was home, asleep upstairs. The house had 2 portions, and the lower level was almost entirely dark, except for a few dim yellow lights glowing faintly in the dining room. The silence inside felt heavier than the silence outside. We walked slowly toward his room on the right side of the hallway. Then we heard it. From the room on the left, about 10 feet away, came the sound of heavy breathing. slow, massive, as if something enormous was standing inside that dark room, inhaling and exhaling with effort. We didn't wait to confirm it. We sprinted into his room and locked the door. That night, neither of us truly slept. He kept hearing someone outside the door whispering my name. I heard someone calling his. We both heard footsteps in the hallway, the sound of objects shifting, movement. But there was no one else there except his mother upstairs, and if she had needed something, she would have knocked or opened the door. Morning eventually came, though it felt like it never would. I went back to my grandfather's house, trying to convince myself it was fear playing tricks on us. Later, my friend told me something that chilled me again. He said that during the night he woke up unable to breathe, like someone was sitting on his chest, pressing down. He couldn't move, he couldn't speak. Only after painfully forcing himself to recite Ayatul Kursi and other surahs did the weight finally lift. It didn't happen to me. Maybe because I regularly recite the last verses of Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Mulk before sleeping. Maybe coincidence. I don't know. But I do know this. I will never mock what I don't understand again, and I will never challenge what I cannot see. Sometimes I still wonder about that dead tree standing alone under the fog. My uncle once joked that the society might have been built over old pagan graveyards. I hope he was joking, because sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I can still hear that growl.